Nothing. I would like to call this meeting to order.
All right.
Could I take the roll call then? I'll take roll. So members, Chair Matt Schuler is excused today. Vice Chair Ace Champion is here. Alder Bill Morgan.
Present.
Eli Hicks.
Here.
Thank you. With a quorum, we were able to move forward. So we'll we'll take a motion to approve the agenda for October 10th.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll need a second, please.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, approval of the agenda is approved unanimously, and we'll move on to the approval of the minutes, please. The minutes are from the May 24th meeting, 2024 meeting of the Community Development Block Grant Revolving Loan Committee meeting. Anyone that would like to come forward to?
Make a motion to approve those.
Thank you. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Eli Hicks and Alder Morgan. All in favor of approving the minutes from last time?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion moves forward. The minutes are approved from the May 24th, 2024 meeting. We're moving on to regular business. I'm wondering if I could go and skip regular business for just a minute and move down to the part where it's an informational piece, just because maybe Celeste can make it by that.
She just left. She's like 15, I would say 15 minutes away, so it's
Okay, then that's okay. We'll go on to this meeting. We'll keep everything in the same order then, regular business. So, consideration with possible action on a loan request from Voyager Sourdough LLC to borrow $215,000 for new equipment and $35,000 for a working capital from the Community Development Revolving Loan Fund Block Grant Program and $45,000 from the Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund, the EDRLF, for expansion expenses. And I'm going to give you a little background on that for the committee members that are new and from back then, just to kind of refresh everyone. So 4 years ago, in December 2019, the journey of building Voyager Sourdough LLC began. With only 7 days of open operation, the unfathomable global pandemic hit for this small business. So COVID-19 entered the business plan, which they had no plan for, and no MBA or SWOT analysis could prepare them for. But for the months and years to come, despite the immense challenges of the hospitality industry faced in 2020 and 2021, their quick pivoting and tenacious marketing kept revenue flowing. They experienced record-breaking numbers in April of 2020 and December of 2020 that were only recently surpassed. One strong principle supported the small business's success was diversification of revenue channels. These channels included retail sales via the stores, wholesale via restaurants and supermarkets and farmers markets. In the first year, the business as a bricks and mortar business, they were proud to say that they achieved revenues of over $500,000 through selling $10 a loaf bread. Pretty amazing. In January of 2022, a second Voyager Bakehouse opened in the heart of downtown Appleton, along with beginning their partnership with Festival Foods, which increased their footprint by 6 stores in Brown County and Outagamie counties. The growth gave them end of year for 2022 sales of $1.3 million, and in 2023 they entered into the Madison market and moved the sales to end their next year with a 1.413 million in sales. In July of 2024, they opened their 3rd location in downtown De Pere, so just recently this summer. And in their current location, they are experiencing, imagine this, some growth roadblocks and are at maximum capacity for the production space and are now looking to expand into the former cannery space located at 300 20 North Broadway, and applying for more CDBG funds to assist them with their expansion efforts. Voyager Sourdough previously had a community development loan, and I wanted to mention this for equipment dated on February 3rd, 2020 is when we gave that to them. This was for oven equipment. It was $70,000. They actually paid it off early. It was for a 10-year loan, but they paid it back by November 15th of 2021. Very impressive. So they've really worked hard to achieve these things. Now they're applying for additional funds. That's why this program is so amazing. Not only are they helping other small businesses in the community, but they're actually helping themselves again for recycling some of those funds back into their growth program. So as you see, they're asking for additional funding. The $215 at 4% interest is what we're looking at for 10 years. Because it's moving into a space and it's ordering this piece of equipment to be brought in, we're thinking about a 12-month interest-only period, very similar to what we had granted them lent them on the first loan. And then the working capital with $35,000, we usually look at a 5% interest rate on working capital because it's uncollateralized with a 3-year amortization. And on the economic development revolving loan fund that they're asking for $45,000, we're looking at 4%. And Stephanie and I have kind of looked at things and think a 5-year amortization seems appropriate for that loan configuration. We would like to ask the loan committee to consider securing this with a personal guarantee and a UCC filing on all the new equipment purchased along with the creation. They'll have to create 8 new jobs. These will be 8 full-time positions with this expansion over the next 18 months. I did include in there their application, their expansion budgets, which have been revised as of yesterday afternoon, and we can share that with you, but it's pretty close to what the original budget was. They are having, their primary lender will be Nicolay, will be financing the build-out. This is secured, though, by the property owner, and so the ownership group of the property, and then the loan will be built into their new lease amounts. So just wanted to make sure that the loan committee was aware of the structure. Voyager is not taking out the Nicolay term bank or the loan. It will be taken out by the owners, so Paul Belschner and his group of investors. Anyway, the rest of the things, you saw the profit and loss and the balance sheets were included along with their forecasts for the next few years and their moving plan. Ben did include one additional piece of information that they do have an update on their, they met with their contractor yesterday afternoon, and the only update that I have was that the contractor costs have moved up to $295,000 from the $215 that they were originally looking at, and so we knew that there was some potential for that once they had general estimates and then had their contractor come through. So that's the only upgrade that we have that was not in your packet, but worth mentioning just so you understand how all these pieces are coming together to be able to help this business move into this new location. And with all that information, I will take questions about what we have kind of presented to the loan committee, if anybody has any.
So do we have that? I'm looking at the sheet here and it says available funds 32,000 something.
That is for the, good question. You're right, am I overspending? So this is the economic development loan. It actually, because some payments have come in that were not originally recorded, this is the balance of that amount. So there's $51,490.70 in that account, so very good. And then in the Community Development Revolving Loan Fund, they're actually, because there's been some payments that recently came in for our annual allotment and other things, but we're over 400 and it's over 429. It's probably closer to 430. And then there's payments that are being received now for this month. So we usually get in about just about 25,000 each month. So it only takes a month or two until I can make another loan happen.
Okay.
But yes, very good question, and I'm glad that you're keeping me on my toes.
I won't let her overspend, don't worry.
That's
Stephanie's
good.
also my other watchful eye.
Thank you for doing that.
It's a tough job,
Yes.
but thank you for that. All right. We also have the owner of the business here. So if you have additional questions and would like to open the floor to talk to Ben at all about his business and what is going on, I've tried to do a really good summary because there's a lot of moving parts here, but it's a
Right.
lot of good information so that it helps you make a decision on this particular request.
Make a motion to open the floor in case anybody does want to speak.
I'll need a second on that, please.
Second.
Thank
I'll
you,
second.
Eli.
Right.
All right.
All those in favor?
All in favor of opening the floor?
Aye.
All right, any
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
All right, the floor is now open. We have owner Ben Codman here at the podium.
Good morning, thank you for having me. Feel very honored to be here once again and trying to make the next exciting phase of the business happen. Yeah, please fire away, let me know.
I think we have to ask your address too.
Yes, we need your address for the record.
Oh, yes.
My home address?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's 919 Nicolay Avenue, De Pere.
So things are sounding pretty good.
Yes, it's been an excellent year. So every year's been better than the previous year, which is always what you want in a small business. Our net profit has increased year on year, and we're hiring more people each year, and it's been a great success. I think the community has backed the business. People love the product. And so, yeah, of course, there's always the little day-to-day challenges in the business. Those don't go away. Hospitality and food and beverage is a challenging industry, probably one of the most difficult to establish and make profit and grow and be consistent and make your customers come back. And I think that's the key to success is your customer retention, and the quality of your product always needs to be at a very high level. And that's what we try and do every day in our business is strive for perfection in our bakery goods, our bread, sourdough, pastry, sandwiches, coffee, and then I guess the experiential feeling you have when you come into one of our venues. So if you've been in our Green Bay location, it's open concept. You can see the bakery in its element, see it happening, see the bakers work, see your product come to life in front of you. And I think that's really important in the food and beverage industry, is not to be behind closed doors and let people see what's happening. And I was a big believer in that at the beginning, and I think we've achieved that. And I don't want to lose that in the future. And we've come to the point where our little bakery is too small to grow the business anymore. And we needed to come up with a plan of how we were going to move to the next phase. So we've spent almost 2 years trying to think what to do. Originally, we were going to do an addition on the back of the building at the Rail Yard District in the old Canning Larson building. And that didn't quite come together. And it wasn't quite going to be perfect. And as that plan came away, the cannery space came available. And it just made a lot of sense. It's down the hallway from us. It's an existing restaurant which can be converted into a bakery. It allows us to expand our food options into a larger, right now we do 5 to 6 sandwiches. In that space with a full kitchen, we can do a brunch restaurant. We can become something more for downtown Green Bay, become a destinational place, more than we already are now. And with the large square foot availability in that space, half of it will become a production bakery, which will allow us to expand our wholesale business, our reach around the state. Our plan is to, tap into more distribution partners. Currently, we only have one out of Madison, but there's many Northeast Wisconsin distribution partners that we could sell baked goods to, which then go out to restaurants and retail partners throughout the state. So our future growth is not necessarily on our own retail side. We're very happy with the 3 stores we have, but our wholesale side is where I really see the growth in the next 5 to 10 years.
Do you have an estimate how many new jobs you will bring?
It's very difficult to say. Off the immediate bat, we're moving from like a sandwich shop into more of a restaurant. So with that, I'm going to need more of a brigade in the kitchen, so kitchen staff, and I'm going to need more people running the restaurant side of things, which I currently don't have. And so you're looking at, my estimates, 5 to 7 full-time positions to do that. On the other side of that, as the wholesale business grows, I need more bakers, because we need more hands. Everything's handcrafted, and so I'll be hiring more bakers over the, it takes a little while to build your wholesale business, but over the following 12 to 18 months, I see adding more bakers as well. And then with that, your operational side, delivery drivers, people to pack and slice the bread, and so on. So yes, I don't see any slowdown in our hiring. I mean, we're now at almost 25 people on payroll, with about half of those full-time.
So the 8 low to moderate income full-time equivalents won't be an issue for you?
No, I don't think so. I think that's it's the food and beverage industry. A lot of people are from low to moderate incomes, younger people that are starting out on their journey. And also we have some mature people older people that work for us that have made the hospitality industry their passion and their career. And I think that's part of our success too, because we've had those people to mentor younger people and create the product that we have today.
Sounds good to me. I can't wait to smell the order of
I was going to say, it's going to
fresh
smell
bakery
even
down
better
that
than it
area.
already does, if
Yes.
that's possible, yes. Any other questions before we close the floor?
Yeah, I have one quick, and I may have missed this, I'm looking through the financials quick. For the 2025 projections, there's a line for participation rent. Is that a plan to possibly rent out part of the space to, a different, I guess, chef or something like that?
Now, participation rent is basically a way to reach the landlord's desired monthly rent. So with my negotiations with the landlord, he had his base rent that he wanted to achieve, and I, in my negotiations, was basically saying it's too expensive and too high for the business to achieve. I think, I didn't want to go into this causing stress on the business by overpaying in rent, though I understand the value for the landlord in that downtown space. So malls do this as well, and Titletown District do this with their tenants, but basically when you hit a certain milestone in your revenue, you will start to pay the landlord a percentage of that revenue to make up for the lower rent that you've negotiated in your lease. And the way I've negotiated with Paul is that participation rent has a beginning point, and then it has a cap, so it doesn't go forever, so that the landlord earns for forever as our revenue grows. So you'll see in that there's a cap to their earnings, and that cap is at what his ideal base rent level is.
Okay.
And so if we succeed, he succeeds, and so forth.
Gotcha, okay.
I also wanted to mention to the committee that typically with a $250,000 loan and a 45, we usually seek some kind of a mortgage piece in our security, but being that their previous history and how these have been structured, I think we could probably craft it after very similar, our loan that happened the first time since it was so successful.
Also, I can explain a little bit on the purchase. I mean, a lot of it is larger size, expensive bakery equipment, which is being purchased to help us scale for the next 10 years plus. Our constraints right now are like our oven size and things like that. So the oven that we are planning to buy is sizable, and it will be a showpiece in the middle of the room. So our concept of being open is going to continue in the cannery space, and the place is going to be completely transformed. From what you remember what it looks like, it will not look like that again, I think that was some of its failings over the last few years, is not going through a transformation. And I think that's really important for the space, is to have that transformation and to look like our brand. And that oven, which is, it's huge, is going to be basically the center of the room.
Are there any further questions? If not, we'll close the floor.
I make a motion to close the floor.
We'll need a second, please.
Close the
You,
motion.
Seconded by Ace Champion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, the floor is now closed. Thank you very much for your
Oh,
information.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Any other further discussion from the committee?
I must say, I think,
Would you like to make a motion?
first I'd like to say, I think it's a great idea. I'd like to see this kind of industry and small business especially, to enhance especially our downtown and Broadway areas, so I'm very much in favor of it. I do make a motion now on the motion.
Here's your motion right there.
Yes.
If I can help you out with that, because there's a lot of pieces to that.
All right, I make a motion to approve the request by Voyager Sourdough LLC for a BG RFL loan in the amount of
Yes?
$215,000 at a 4% interest for 10 years with a 12-month interest-only period, and a CDGB working capital loan for $35,000 at 5% for 3 years, and an end ED RLF for $45,000 for 4% for 5 years, secured with this personal guarantee and UCC filing on the new equipment purchase, along with the creation of 8 new full-time equivalent positions over the next 18 months.
We have a motion. Can we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Eli. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
Thank- This is always a pleasure working with you, so we look forward to more wonderful things coming from your business.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate your time.
I'd like to move on to the informational part of the meeting here.
Thank you.
I did include the revolving loan fund status report. As you can see, we've had a couple of them fall a little bit behind. We've had a couple get caught up. I'm gonna have to grab my report. Oh, here it is. Anyway, we've been in touch with all of our businesses, and we're working with them. Most of them are back into standing. There's some payments that came in yesterday, and so we feel comfortable that the loan committee doesn't need to probably take action on anything at this time. Was there anything else that you thought of, Stephanie, that?
No, if anything changes, we will let them know, but most of them are willing to work with us and contact us.
Yeah, sometimes I just think it was just maybe a busy couple months or something, but anyway, we just got in touch with everybody, and they're working on getting things straightened out. So I think that that's good. We're tracking down some employment reports and different things like that, but we, for the most part, are all back in alignment with everything and on good standing. So we're all set with that. I'm going to grab the last piece of information that I want to have, unless somebody has any questions on the financial reports from the loan status. I'll move on to the next item. I wanted to share with the committee that the state of Wisconsin Economic Development Corp., so the Wisconsin Economic Development Organization, has put out a small business development grant opportunity that municipalities can apply for to be able to work. And this is very similar to what we have done in the past. We get a grant and then we start to develop a program and get that funding out there. So we got committee approval from finance. We're waiting to get approval from the council, but we'd like to apply for $250,000 from the state of Wisconsin to start a new program to help small business startups. That's a program that we don't currently have. We don't have anything for startups. They usually need to scale up at this point. They need to hire employees. They need to have some track record, maybe 1 to 2 to 3 financial years to tell us about before we can participate with our current program. So this would be a different program. We'd like to do something kind of unique in the fact that we'll be focusing, we would charge a low interest rate, just like this one is one of the proposals. And then at the end of the 3 years, when they, so it'd be like a working capital loan for like $35,000. They get 3 years to pay it back. When they pay that interest back, we'd like to gift them on the last day of their loan, or that last month, their interest back that they paid. So pretty much it would be a zero interest new startup loan for them. So if it was $35,000, they made all 3 years worth of payments on time, they would be gifted back almost $1,500. So it's almost like forgiving the last 4 payments in another way to look at it. But anyway, we think it would be a nice little incentive, so to get that check and be able to roll that back into their business and to be able to make the payments. Instead of a grant, which sometimes the money just evaporates and they can't replenish it, we'd like to have it as a loan. This is a perfect example today of why we'd like it to be a loan program that we can make. And you can make it any way you want to, and then you propose it and they'll be selecting, WEDC will be selecting 8 municipalities to be able to have these programs. But we'd like to focus on some minority and underserved population businesses in our community, so we'd be focusing on that. We try and target areas that maybe could use some some injection of a program of some sort. So we would look to areas of our community that would be best served with that. But anyway, this is a new program. We're still working out the final details, but we pretty much have kind of an idea when we propose the grant application, or we're applying for the grant to make a loan program with this. But this committee, and why I think it's important, this committee would be hearing those loan requests. So this committee, since it's already our loan committee that's set up, this program would fall under this committee's entity or oversight, and we would report to you on how that's doing. But we look forward to serving more businesses in our community and more startups. We know that that's really important because the startups, as we know today, become bigger businesses all the time. So I just wanted to share that information, and we'll let you know as the details unravel with that, and if we're selected by the state of Wisconsin for our new program that we're proposing.
You don't need our approval to do this, correct?
I don't think so. We went to the finance committee to ask if we could apply for this grant, and then I think it's approved by council, and then it would come back and they would appoint which committee they would like to have it seen under, but I believe it would just make sense, and it seems to be the best fit since we're already prepared for seeing these types of loans come through.
And you know that whoever oversees this program will allow us to do something like rewarding the participants that do it.
We would set it up initially like that, so as it comes through the committees, it's approved in that way. And I think it might be the final pieces of the document might come through this committee and through finance or whatever. We'll review it with this.
He's questioning if the WEDC would be fine with that.
WEDC is really excited, and actually we had to pitch our idea to them in order to get an application.
Great.
And they sent us an application afterward.
Wonderful.
So that was the pieces of the puzzle on that one. So we have the application. Now the real work begins of getting it all together and getting it into them.
Thank you.
So we'll keep you posted on that as things come together, but that's all I have for informational items on the agenda. I think that brings us to our last item, and that's the adjournment. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you with that. Tag teaming over there. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much for taking the time out today to help this small business out and keep the good things going here at the city. Appreciate that. Have a fine day, everyone.
Recording stopped.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.